Welcome to the Global Quickie. I'm Michael Brooks, and the Global Quickie take a global issue, event from politics, culture, international relations, break it down for you, tell you what you need to know. And coming up in August in Eastern Europe, NATO countries are going to begin the world's largest war game since the Cold War in Eastern Europe. So a couple of months ago, we talked about upgrading military infrastructure in Eastern Europe and upgrading NATO capacities. And we asked, are we on the verge of World War III? And no, I don't want to be alarmist, but obviously the situation in Eastern Europe and through NATO and obviously with Russia provocation is getting more tense. And this war game comes on top of that. I'm going to explain to you a little bit what that entails. So, as I say, it will be conducted with Poland. It's the largest war game since the end of the Cold War. And I'm going to quote now from a piece in The Guardian. The 10-day military exercise involving 31,000 troops and thousands of vehicles from 24 countries has been welcomed among NATO allies in the region, though defense experts warn that any mishap could prompt an offensive reaction from Moscow. Now, Russian jets routinely move around Baltic airspace, violate territorial integrities of airspace and all the rest. There's the tension emanating out of Ukraine, and Russia clearly has adopted an offensive posture and alarmed Baltic states and NATO member countries that are closer to Russia's sphere of influence. However, we still have to ask ourselves, is NATO a useful defense framework and where we are supposedly living in a post-Cold War world? And in a time when we need to ratchet down the crisis in the Middle East, recalibrate U.S. foreign policy, try to figure out the changing world of China, India, and the new dynamics of Asia, is it really a great time to invest in provoking a situation in Eastern Europe? Now, it's a fine balance because you do need to let Russia know that we have a presence there. We don't want to return to some type of semi-colonial position. But there are bigger problems that need to be solved across the entire Eurozone. And it seems odd that now would be a smart time to continue this type of provocative activity, which is aimed at not just containing and letting Russia know, but actually potentially even provoking a response. We're returning to some type of Cold War setting in Eastern Europe at a time when we need to ratchet down in the Middle East and shift to Asia. And the question is, can we ever move ourselves out of the same types of problems that we have had in that region for decades? And that's the Global Quickie. I'm Michael Brooks. And hang on for just a few more seconds. I just recently launched Two Dope Boys and a Podcast. It's a twice weekly podcast. I'm co-hosting with my friend Phil McKenzie. That's why I'm drinking. That's why I haven't had a shave. It's a podcast about trends, culture, race. There's all sorts of amazing segments on everything from brand apologies to what's good to what's up. You can find out more if you subscribe to it now at subscribe to, that's the number 2, db.com. Subscribe to db.com or find us at 2, the number 2, Dope Boys and a Podcast in iTunes. Really hope you listen. Thanks so much, everybody.